this is an area I struggled with in these notes.
Okay.
To be completely honest, is
What about
the
the other
positives and the things to make what could be done to make things better. So, just generically, just like with nutrition, and a lot of people, because there's so much information available now, and there's so much access to that information, people are starting to wake up and be more aware.
It's like the wave. You catch the wave once the one domino falls, and I just put it in two different.
But along with that is that the science itself is starting to catch up.
Well.
And correct itself.
Yeah,
and you have people like Huberman.
We have it coming together, right?
And Knees Over Toes.
Nutrition, and the quote unquote doctors of health medicine are starting to actually come together, which for the last 60 years has been separated.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to meld a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm not saying
it's just starting.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying
like that aspect of it is just starting, but. You have people who've been talking about this stuff in the correct ways for
decades. 80s. I mean, what's that one doctor? Ludwig's. Robert.
The Olympian guy. Is that who you're talking about? No.
This is Dr. Robert Ludwig. That's Lewiders, I think. Anyway, he's been fighting this battle since the 80s, man. And if you want to watch some of his videos, he does not mince words when it comes to the corruption in which he's dealt with.
Oh, is he the one you sent me the video on where he's talking about the hacking?
Yeah, maybe
of our bodies.
Yes, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's typically
he's hard on it, man, and he.
Well, dude,
it was hard to digest a little bit because some of it does almost get into conspiracy level stuff.
No, like if you look up,
if we're talking about the right video.
Look up a lot of stuff. If you look up some of the stuff that he mentions, it's not very far.
No, I'm just saying. It sounds
so
like
crazy.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, it's so far fetched sounding that you're like no, and people are like and he slowly
stuff.
what's funny is he clearly and slowly and with precision maps out why. Within the medical and food industry as to why these things happened and how they happened and when these bills were passed and what deals were done. And he does it since the 80s because he's been in there since the 80s.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people. There's another one I can send to you from a gal that was she's from Britland, England, UK.
Yeah.
And she lost her job because they shut down her news channel because she was covering stuff.
I think I've heard of her. I don't remember her name though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's usually the people who have been silenced, in my opinion, are the people we should be listening to.
Yeah, I'm not here.
Not all of them,
right?
But.
Yeah, you look, pay attention as to why. Look, and see why. And if sometimes, when you start getting to conspiracy for me is when you say, okay, well, this person had this defamatory freaking case happen to them or like that, right? Where were they headed with whatever? If they just lost that becomes conspiracy shit, right? Yeah. If they just lost their job and their whole studio was shut down by their studio, by their bosses for no reason.
Well, there are a few doctors over the last few years who were mostly right about the C-19.
Yeah. And they're nurses and doctors.
Well, I mean, like prominent ones that
were very vocal.
That Anthony Fauci himself went after.
Yeah. Well, dude, you don't take no money off my table, man.
Anyways, that's a whole other topic.
It is.
That's not what we're here for, Barry. So what else? What are some positives that you can bring to this?
I just gave him. All right. So.
I'm gonna smack your face. I'm gonna tell Jocko that you said he eats crayons.
He still does, or did you finally get over that?
Seals don't eat crayons. Marines do.
Seals chew them. Spit them. Yeah, we're gonna get killed. I don't know. We discuss it. I've discussed it ad nauseum so much that It's there are small little things that you take away every day, and there is a little bit of a high that you get for when you get past something that's plaguing you for years. In your diet, because they relate back and forth so much from your diet.
Yeah, because if you're eating crappy, you're not going to want to get up and work out.
Exactly. And to work out. And sometimes they just if you have a bad stomach, it really can paralyze you sometimes. So just getting that little mental win off your first thing can lead to another one and another one.
Oh yeah, it's little weird comparison here, but Jason Stapleton talking about building your business and getting that first dollar means everything, because once you get that first dollar,
I can
once you get that first dollar, you know that you can do this.
I can relate to that completely. So as a struggling artist at times in my life, I've gone to Comic-Cons. And I've been at Comic-Cons where nothing sold. Like, people didn't ask me to do any little silly portrait. No little nice kids came up even and showed me pity. But
because you're creepy and scary looking, Barry.
Thank you. But I've been there. I've had those ones where just like I had one con a few years ago, right before the C19 hit, and I sold. I did a set not thinking, because I actually used I did an old photo of Spider-Man and Spider-Gwen, and then I added Miles, but I didn't correlate with, and I was using cell shaded style, which I don't always use, but that was right after the movie had been released of Spider-Verse.
Oh, nice.
And so those prints sold
like hotcakes. It was amazing. And that was my best sale by far. Almost all of them. So much to the point, like I had like maybe 5 left. Yeah.
And
out of what, like 8?
Dick. Yes, 800. Couple hundos on there, buddy. Yeah. No. Anyway, but yeah, no, out of plenty. Anyway, and some little kids who actually had already bought like one Spider-Gwen and one Miles. Well, they wanted the trifecta, right? Which was a bigger scene I'd had, and it was like my last one. So the kid brought his sister, came back with a little brother, and so little brother bought another Peter, and they didn't have enough for the other one, so I just threw it in there,
Yeah.
But like just having that win is just such a huge thing. I can definitely relate to what Stapleton's saying.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. I think we've all been there in different things. It's just man, once you persisting past something, literally failing, I'd say failing at something.
Well, and back to, the Warrior Kid, he got that first push up, and that's great.
But he failed before.
He failed.
Yeah, and there was a line of failure also.
But there was a ton of work that came before that.
Yeah, I really believe the biggest payoff is in these relations, and what the common denominator is that there was a sustained or a moment of failure.
Yes.
Of things that you worked your ass off at. Yeah. And it wasn't like, okay, well I tried and I lost. No, it's like I tried like a mother. And I like sleepless nights, early mornings. Like just getting ready for cons. I mean, I've lost money at because I bought a table.
You have to pay at most cons. You have to pay your space.
Yep. And whatever else. If you don't have room and board, wherever you're staying, like you're in the hole. If you don't sell good, maybe you sold a little bit, but it's not enough. But
so most of those cases, you probably got to do what, $200?
What's that
minimum? You have to sell 200 just to break even.
500.
500?
Yeah.
And I don't know what.
It depends on how big the con is, where it's at. Like if you have, sometimes you can stay at a friend's house, right? So that's off the list. Sometimes a table is like, maybe if you're at a smaller con, the table is like $50, $75.
Yeah, and that's what I was going off of, and like 150 for hotel.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So one night.
Yeah. Right. Well, no, you've got advance notice, so you can get them before they, go crazy and get them at that cheaper price.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was a weird little sideways route.
But it relates to finding that win, to really sticking with the positive. To me, that's a huge thing, because like I know sometimes especially if you're living an unhealthy life, as it's so easy to fall into, right? I'm not trying to sit out there and say, everybody, you're all suck. You need to get with it. You're not eating healthy. You're not working out. But to get like a little working, you do push-ups every day, just to get off that, like you're losing right now. You are not getting there. Like just to be something. If you have a goal of 100 push-ups every day, which is very doable. I mean, you can just take a minute, or 2 minutes every morning to do, 50, 5 sets of 10. You don't have to do them back to back to back. I'm just saying this is just an example.
Atomic Habits. It's a book written by a person.
Sounds horrible. We're here to bring you this knowledge, people.
I'm just now thinking of this off the top of my head, so I don't remember his name. He was on Art of Manliness, I believe. But his book, Atomic Habits.
Was that Adam?
Not funny. But one of the things he talks about is like when you go to the bathroom, before you go in to pee or after you're done,
when you're getting
do
up,
a push-up.
Yeah, when you're getting up. Yeah, what that is an occasion of opportunity, right? So you're already up, do something. You're thirsty. You're going for that 15th cup of coffee. Because a lot of people like in the workplace, 10 cups of coffee is pretty common, right?
I can't even imagine. I can't even do 2. Well, 3.
Like, this is a tangent, but what?
For me personally, 3 is a lot.
Oh, shit.
I can't do a 3rd cup of coffee.
You're lucky.
Well, and I say 3.
Yeah.
It's 2 for me because I've got 20-ounce cups.
Yeah.
So, are they 20?
So you're like...
No, they're about 20-ounce cups.
Okay, so that's so you're doing 4 cups of coffee.
No, I usually only do one of those.
Okay, so that's 2.5.
Sometimes I'll do 2.
Okay.
Or used to. I don't anymore.
Well, that's good. Technically, that's good. I mean...
Man, it's hard. Anyways. We are so off topic right now. Yeah. So, what can be done to make things better, Barry?
I was talking about that.
Let's just smash right into this. Yeah. Whatever point we were trying to make before, it's gone.
I just
we're
made
moving.
that point. I just to again find a moment of opportunity, and find a way to move it a little bit more. So you're getting the coffee, you're getting a sandwich, even going for a walk. So you went to walk to go grab this or that. Mm-hmm. Keep walking and circle back around to your desk or back to the chainsaw. I know a lot of people. I know people that work, day jobs that they just don't get breaks. Right? They're either in a physical job or whatever like that. That's a tough thing. Yeah. And for that, I would always recommend something in the morning. So I know it's nice to fall asleep in a recliner, but this is where going to bed just a little bit earlier can help. And you don't start by going to bed earlier. You start by getting up earlier, so you can get tired, and then discipline yourself enough. Make the call because you're in charge of your life, not the TV box.
On that real quick, because sleeping is a huge part of this too that I didn't make notes for.
Yeah, you suck.
You didn't either.
I did too, right there.
No.
Look at my notes I had. Sleep.
It's not necessarily when you go to bed that's important. It's when you get up. Being consistent about when you wake up. That is the actual key to it. Yeah. And everything else will follow. Yeah.
And again, back to my point, we as the day goes on, we run out of energy, surprisingly enough. So if you can get a little sweat on in the morning, doesn't have to be much, if you want to, whatever it is, I'd say, because the easiest thing for me is 10 lunges back and forth on each leg, and then 100 push-ups, right?
Yeah.
And split them up. But also in between those, stretch, arm up and stretch up. If you have a ceiling, literally try to reach the ceiling. This is important. Stretching is extremely, we haven't touched on it. We should have touched on it.
I added a note in here for it.
But stretch in the best, most natural, organic stretch that you don't have to think about a lot or waste a lot of crap time on is reach for the flipping stars, man. And try to stretch over. So you're stretching your back, you're stretching your hips, you're stretching your butt, you're stretching your hamstrings. And then, if you can, lift up on your feet and just keep on and stretch. And so then go, okay, do your right leg lunges. Stand up, stretch a little bit, stretch a little bit. Do your left leg lunges. Okay, stretch a little bit, and then push-ups. And then if you want to, and that you should have a nice little sweat on. And then, maybe you might be hungry at that point. It might even help your appetite in the morning. Which is a good thing technically, because the more you eat later on at night, it actually hurts the stomach because you have to digest stuff and your stomach does not work much while you are sleeping. The digestive system, your whole body's trying to shut it down. So that's why I listen to Huberman on that and so, try to eat more before midday than I do after post midday and evening. It's not always easy. I didn't do that tonight. God knows, but thanks to Bran.
Shut.
So that's the positives to me. Get on the.
I do find that I do naturally eat more between 10 and dinner time.
Yeah, I think that's the rhythm your body's in. Because like I know that when I wake up at 5 or 4, I'm probably not going to eat until at least 9. I may have, what I do have is coffee or water, right? And that's good. That's think back again. Like let's compare this back to ancestral days. Halftime you were gonna. Sometimes you had some old meat, whatever it was, had been cooked and whatever, but you were gonna eat by midday. You're gonna go hunt by midday, but in the morning you're gonna wake up. You're gonna do your business, whatever you got going on, get things prepared. You get some water in your body.
Well, and like you said, that access of food, they didn't have fridges stocked with shit and cupboards stocked with stuff. It was, if you have anything, you're going to save it until you absolutely need it. Yep. And hopefully by then you found some more.
And yeah, it makes me think of another point is I know like vegetables have a stigma about them, and I've been there because I was the sure kid, and I was not the big veggie guy, and it's how I ended up in the good situation I was. But if you have a go-to veggie that you don't mind putting on the stove real fast or putting in the boiler real quick, that actually is pretty easy, I've found. And I'm just, again, like I wasn't always an early eater. Like I still eat. I rarely eat before 9. I try to get my fill of water, when I'm doing my workout or even post-workout. But most of my eating is, if I can get most of my morning eating, it is before 11 or right then at 11.
Yeah. All right. So more things that could be done to make things better. I want to see things be made a little bit more accessible.
Well,
and this is in relation to some things that I would really like to do that I can't because it's just not accessible. Knees over toes routine. This is like $50 a month.
Yeah, it's not cheap. Well, it's because
and I get what he's going towards, but
no, that's actually not bad. Like, right? It's like he's competing with a vast thing. I'm not going to justify his stuff, but yeah, it's not horrible, but it's not.
But even cheap. Just like more apps to help people find a motivation or a consistency.
Well, you can't
consistency.
I don't think you ever find motivation. You're either going to do it or not. Consistency, yes.
Some apps do help people.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying they don't help people, but motivation is. Anyway, yeah, I think that consistency is a big thing. Yes, for sure.
That goes back to that dopamine thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, and as you pointed out, stretching is huge.
Yeah. Stretching in the morning is very big.
Huberman did a solo episode about stretching, and it was
really. Yeah, is that a spin-off of the Ito one?
No, it's a very recent one.
Okay.
It was before Ito. A couple episodes before Ito.
So last one.
Because Ito is about moving.
Yeah.
And motion specifically, not just moving, but motion and moving and.
Yeah, there's a lot of
more. I don't know because I didn't listen to all of it. It sounded really interesting. Stuff, yeah. The little bit that I got, but I just haven't. I haven't put that one on yet. Yeah. But yeah, stretching is so vital to our longevity. Again, the old people folding in on themselves. A lot of that is from not stretching.
And why is
in improves your range of motion.
Yes,
a lot.
So why? So a reason why, like fundamentally or scientifically, I don't know what the real explanation is, but why stretching is so important, and we don't do it enough is blood flow for one.
Yeah, right? Circulation is a huge part of that.
Because the tendons, those tissues, don't have as much access to the red blood cells and oxygen as muscle does.
Well, and it takes more for them too.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay. I know
they don't gets into it.
I know they don't have like the circulation is not the same, right?
Yeah.
So they don't have the same access as the muscles do. So it's very important to just to make sure you gotta focus on them. It doesn't take much, but it feels dang good actually when you get into it.
Well, and that's one of the things Huberman gets into is that there is this kind of sweet spot, and it's 3 reps of 30 seconds of whatever static stretch you're doing. Static stretching is the best. I mean, if you can do other things,
it's just a very basic,
not going to hurt you.
Right.
But,
it's very basic, safe.
But it does have the best results for like this static with the 3 sets of 3 of whatever those are. He didn't get too much into any specific stretches.
You got different forms, right? But like you can literally feel where you need to stretch.
Yeah.
And you can feel where you're tight on your body.
But like anything over 30 seconds doesn't have any impact. It does any further impact. Yeah. If you want. But I have used that a little bit in my own stretching because we are using an app for our workout routine right now. And throughout and at the end, it has stretching exercises depending on what you're doing for the day.
Yeah.
Like leg day is broken into like 3 segments kind of. And I like grab your foot and bring it back.
Yep.
For your quads, your quad stretch. The days when I have done the 3 sets, I notice almost an immediate change from the first set to the second one.
And that's important.
And then the third one is...
The quad is a good stretch just in general because it's only this, right? It's only your muscle group right here. Mm-hmm. But it's a large, thick, powerful muscle group that controls between your leg, from your calves, mm-hmm. right? From your shin to your knees to your...
abdomen,
and I can't remember this muscle group right here, but yeah. So it is a major controller of different muscle groups. Yeah. So you don't think about, I'm gonna stretch my legs. No, you're stretching more than just your leg right there.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. I know a nice stretch, very much one for your hamstrings, like you were saying, is just standing and spreading your legs a little bit and then reaching down, just try as much as you can slowly. But surely to palms to the ground. And you don't have to, but as long as you're touching the ground, you can feel the stretching between your hamstrings and your back, your lower back.
The other thing that he really focused on in that episode a little bit too is the conflicting muscle groups. Mm. So stretching one, and then in your rest period between sets, contracting the conflicting. Okay. And that loosening up that other muscle because they're trying to work against each other a little bit.
You can make sure that one gets a stretch, blood flow, all the good benefits.
That stretch you were just talking about, where
so
feet together, feet apart, whichever, and just bending over. If you do that, stand up, clench your quads.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then do it again. You see immediate, significant improvement.
It's like if you're doing lower back, stomach muscles, clench your, do a gut, flex.
Anyways, we're not talking about stretching.
No, we are.
I mean, we are.
It is. It was good. It's good little part right there. I like that. Those definitely going to things that can help. Those are little things. Again, like these are positive. These are where you can get your little wins, and what contribute and get you out of bad habits. Like we all sometimes. I stumble around a lot. Sometimes I stumble around a lot in the dark because maybe my like 2 months ago my shins to my knees just weren't feeling right.
Yeah.
And Ben Patrick had that. He has a device that actually helps with this. Mm-hmm. I don't have the money right now to buy it. I'm going to buy it next month. But there's a workout that he shows that you can do in the meantime that actually is complement to this. And so I can do that, and that helps immediately. I think I showed that, the steps thing where you keep your foot flat and it stretches out your
Oh yeah.
Achilles plus your knee. Yep. Because often what's bugging us is not where the the fly is, where the issue is.
So continuing on with our how can we make things better is kind of this next section of specific things that we want to get into a little bit deeper. So take it away, Barry.
I was talking about that. With the accessibility and stuff.
Well, your 2 points there.
Oh, my 2 points. All right, yeah.
Barry, get with the program. But what we're going to talk about here is part of the being better category a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, making things better.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, that's what we're here to do. We're here to make things better. Just kidding. Sorry. All right.
Try to.
So when you move, how do you? What does it tell you, right? Well, we're always just go about. So if you're moving and you feel like a limp, or maybe you feel like, one shoulder's lower than the other shoulder, or your back's stiff, these little things that tell us these are alerts. Just like,
well, even something I try to focus on. You might have noticed it tonight. I'm trying to sit up straight more.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah, I'm always trying. Yeah,
but it's
posture
huge for those back muscles. It's amazing how much is lost when you're not sitting up straight.
Yeah, the whole skeletal structure. Yeah, like I'm actually doing Hampton's things where you put your back against the wall all the time, move your arms, because like I have horrible, as the next guy calls it, nerd neck, right?
Yeah,
and that there's actually brain data studies, and he and her human talk about it. I know somebody else have talked. I've seen it other places too. I mean, even Jocko, where the nerd neck is actually a what comes from bad posture. The bad posture comes from actually a mental disposition of humility or not.
There's a little bit of lack of confidence. Jordan Peterson's talked about it.
Yes, lack of confidence. There's a lot, and more and more confidence can make you stand straighter, but in correlation, correcting these things that make you like hold your head up, chin up. Mm-hmm. This is literally why the military does this. They might not know that anymore, but back in the day, it was actually why this. Chin up, chest out. It gives you multiple things that affect it. Not only helps you breathe properly, but it helps you actually have more esteem, helps you enunciate better, helps you be more clear when you're, There's a list of things that I just listed.
I mean, you kind of hit on one of those, the confidence thing. By doing this, you're almost imposing a sense of confidence in yourself.
Yeah,
without
it works both
trying
ways.
to do anything.
Yes, without trying to do anything mentally for confidence, only structurally for your body.
I'm going to say a little bit. It makes you appear more confident. Yeah. So then people treat you as though you are confident.
Yes, you will have people treat you.
Turns around and builds on your confidence.
Yes. Yeah. There's a
probably closer to how it works.
Yeah. There's a feedback, but there's a I don't know, mental studies, but people have talked about how it affects your brain. So I'm not sure if it's because of that, if it's effective of that, or if it's just effective through genetic coding. This alignment.
A little bit, maybe.
Who knows? Too. I don't know. I'm just saying that I've encountered that through the listenings and the readings. But yeah, people actually do, because I have bad posture, and when I do stand, for lack of a better term, at attention or with better posture, I my full 6'2", whatever, and people do treat you better. They better is a funny way to say it.
Shoulders.
Yeah, shoulders good.
Stand up straight, shoulders back.
Yep, and not slouching, not trying to hide away, which is, that's a whole psychological. That's a whole discussion on that in psychological, because you can spot it, why, right? And for me, no, let's just not get into that. But yeah, it actually is a very good. It's a very good thing.
So that's a good example of what you're trying to talk about, Barry. Yeah. So. Yeah, no, I mean, pay attention to what's going on with your body when you move, because there might be something going on there that you need to take care of.
Yep. And at least put you on a direction, right? Because a lot of us, like, okay, you got a limp, well, my leg hurts, or my back hurts. Well, the thing could be your hip or your knee or your ankle, right? Mm-hmm. So it puts you on a path that'll it'll lead to understanding and knowledge, and get that.
Well, and
correct.
it's self-awareness too.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of things start with self-awareness and knowing what's going on with your body.
Yep. Yeah,
and if you know what's going on, you can work to correct those things.
Yes, making those conscious choices that we all, again, take energy. So it's a cycle, and these things collapse in on themselves as we lose energy, as we do the things that take energy from us. So the more we build towards these things, it will build up energy within us and for us. They'll raise these small little buildings back up within us, these little walls. There's another thing. Okay, well, I kind of already talked about this. Once we stop moving, what's something we can do to get back into it? And I kind of mentioned that with whatever breaks that you have. A little stretch.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's just simple as just do it again.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You can keep on stretching. It does you. It's good. So you're at a desk all day, or you're behind a wheel all day long, or you're falling timber all day, or whatever it might be, stock and shelf, and you have your 5 minute. You get some water, you get some whatever else, some nice little treat. Get that arm up over that back and pull back on your elbow and stretch that lat out. You haven't hit that. Maybe you're working. Maybe you're pulling the saw a lot. Whatever else, you get that moved, and it'll do wonders for you. If you already did it, do it again. If you can't think of anything else, just get into that habit. It helps the blood flow. It helps everything.
Because we're not perfect about our workout routine in my house.
Shit, no, I'm not.
We're easy to fall into excuses.
Yes, you do.
You don't even know. So
I know you from your food.
I thought we were gonna make it this week. Working out every day. It's been a long time since we've done that.
This is a good conversation. So so your family it's not strenuous, so it's like we're gonna do a workout.
Leg day is the hardest day. Like I'm always sore after leg day.
Yeah, good.
Because it's multiple sets and it's some good squats.
Well, you're doing some good range of motion.
And I'm still heavy-ish for my body, so
when I do lunges,
that's extra weight.
Yeah, but But if you're getting good range of motion on legs, you're gonna have some straight. You're gonna have some tight quads afterwards. I'm sorry. Yeah. Some tight hammies afterwards, especially if you're getting I do lunges outside with the bags. Dude,
I can't do lunges
afterwards, man. Well, it's only like 75, right? So I store up on each arm, go back and forth a couple times. But man, I can feel it by the third time I'm doing that. I can feel it tightening up.
But
that's good.
No, it's not super strenuous, but it sometimes we are too tired, and we talk sleep's really important. Although we should get up and stay up, not contradict what I said. But sometimes you're just
it happens
beat, and you need that extra sleep.
So what this is like. So you praised Hampton and Heavinger's Kitchen for this. So
no, and I'm not beating myself up.
I know, but it's again for the listeners, right? For your you made a good point on this, and this is the point you're really to touch on right now. You don't need to hit. It's not the military, right? You're not training to be. You're not trained unless you are training to take on Jocko, but you're not. So, a day off, unless it becomes 2 days off.
Unless it becomes a problem.
Habitual.
Yeah. Because right now we didn't work out today. I don't know if I'm gonna still work out tomorrow, but we may not work out tomorrow. The
biggest thing.
My wife had an abscess tooth. So that's pretty good. Pretty good reason to not exercise.
Brand. Let's go.
So that's what it is this week. There have been
life happens, right?
6. There's times where I've been 6.
I agree with that.
But sickness has happened a couple of times. So it is important. I do feel like I know for myself. The point I was trying to make with that is that we aren't beating ourselves up. Right. We just get back into it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And it's harder if you're doing it you miss Monday and Tuesday and you're on a Monday through Friday workout routine to start back up on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Right? It is more difficult, but you just got to be disciplined to do it.
Yeah. That's there. You have to make a choice, and it's going to take a little more energy. I think I really believe that. I believe it does take more energy.
Monday was hard.
Yeah.
I was tired as fuck, and I just really didn't want to. But I was like, no, we can't.
Yeah.
Can't fall off, man.
Getting to that point where you're just simply building habits is, and letting the habit take over, is in itself its own like milestone. Let's say, what I mean.
It's a huge process.
Yeah. So, and anyone listening to this, we don't like perfection is not a target.
There's no such thing as perfection.
Well,
it's a word that needs to be.
Clearly, there is. I mean, have you seen? Never mind.
It's a word that needs to be scrubbed from vocabulary. Period. Like it needs to be erased from the dictionary.
This guy, man,
because these
millennials in their burning
is
books and words.
Such a terrible concept put into people's heads. This idea of perfection.
No, I wouldn't. I don't.
I hate. If there's any word I hate, it's perfection.
I know, because you're one of those. Everyone gets a blue ribbon. All right. So, the point is that within itself, perfection has a great nuance to it, because it can be a perfection of some sorts for, of even just like chaos for someone to actually do the struggle all the time, right? So, as Hampton or Saida says, you won't always succeed, but keep going and always just never giving up.
Failure isn't failure. It's a learning opportunity.
Well,
because you failed doesn't mean that you can't do.
Yeah, exactly. And it really is a perfection for you to keep on going. Like, you're not giving up. That is a perfection. Like, it's flawed, but it's also perfect at the same time. Take that.
No, you sound like an oxymoron.
No, you sound like a moron, period. All right, so yeah, that's my point. 2 points at which Bran made his points. But what are your points, Bran?
This hot and cold.
Yeah.
Therapy. I called it. I don't remember.
I'm talking about food.
How did he keep putting it today? I don't remember. Well, not today, but while I was listening today, Huberman, where it's not just cold. You're deliberately doing it. Deliberate cold exposure. There we go. And you've got deliberate hot exposure too.
Yeah.
And
there's an awareness the way it affects your mind.
Most of the time when people talk about cold temperature exposure,
I'm exposing myself.
They're usually talking about cold.
Yeah, it's involuntary.
Well, I just usually people are focused on the cold side and not a lot on the hot. Which there's still benefits on the hot.
Oh, there is. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you.
And Huberman's got a separate episode for that. I didn't know about that. But there's a ton of benefits that come from it. Like it helps you build resistance to stress because you're intentionally putting yourself in a stressful situation. And if you do a cognitive exercise, like some relatively decent math is the example Huberman used, or like a full train of thought, like not just the water's cold,
right?
Like
a uniform,
a building idea concept. If you're doing that as you're going into the water, it
stimulates,
focuses your prefrontal cortex and overrides the stress going on. Makes so that way you're able to perform under other stresses that happen in your life.
Okay, that makes sense. It correlates completely. I believe. Yeah. Makes sense.
And a lot of times people also think about full body immersion, which is your neck down.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to sit there. He talked about this with Jocko when he was on his episode. Jocko was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna sit here and it looks so badass."
Yeah, no, you don't want to do that. Yeah.
But it's actually better if you move around.
They go into it
because you build up a thermal layer
on
your skin.
Well, when you're like this, like you're trying to keep your. It's more.
Well, it's your body's trying to protect you from the cold, so it creates this thermal layer, kind of like Gambit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's right. Yeah, so
mutation.
So well, yeah. Anyway,
the way that works is kinetic energy.
It's kinetic buildup. Yeah. So what you want is to move around, right? To make that discomfort happen.
Yeah. So the cold penetrates that thermal layer and
Yep.
actually gets to you.
Yep. Through and through.
And that might be Huberman is very open about there not being a lot of studies with shower because it's so difficult.
Yes.
But it's the most accessible for people.
It's the most.
But that might be part of the reason why a shower is so effective because you are forced to move around to get proper cold exposure. Like I do. Yeah. I intentionally I raise my arm and splash and I turn around.
Under the
I
pitch,
make sure.
Yeah.
I do the calf back so that way get my legs.
Can you do that again? On video. So no.
Nobody needs to see that.
No one. You're right. I'm sorry for myself.
And that's just a kind of observation that I made. That's me speculating.
It's a good observation, I'd say, and because I've come to the same conclusion myself, and it feels like you can feel the breaking, right? Like so, you go from hot to cold. I'm not sure if you do, but I go from hot to cold, and I go from real hot to cold. And
I've done that.
Sometimes I do gradual, right? So sometimes I go hot to medium. I'm still doing the routine, right? I'm still scrubbing my bald head and whatever else. And
nope.
And then I put on cold, right? So ice cold, just crank it all the way to as if you just turned on the show. And that's a good ride right there, because cold. Yeah. If you let it, it's funny because if you let it,
kind of helps that stress factor a little
bit. But it also
bit.
Wakes you up. You can feel the good from it, right? Mm-hmm. For one, you're like, okay, I'm actually doing this without crying like a little girl, which I want to do, but I'm not letting myself. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, well, this feels very refreshing. Mm-hmm. Very I can feel it waking me up more.
And that's part of the prefrontal cortex aspect of it too, is that you're overriding your prefrontal cortex is shut down, and your fight or flight aspects of your brain are like, this is stressful, we need to get the fuck out of here.
Right, but you're saying, but you're in front here. The front is like, no, I'm in charge. Yeah.
And that's part of the point of the prefrontal cortex is impulse control.
Yeah, and I would say it's part of the whole exercise and the benefits of the hot cold.
It is one of the major benefits. Which I kind of talked about a little bit. Also helps you increase your dopamine.
Also, people, I want to also dopamine's good, but I'm not in any way saying I'm a bad A dude because I can take a cold shower. You know what I mean? This is not cold shower versus an ice bath is not the same.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, it's showers second on the list of effectiveness.
I know. Yeah. But it's so.
And you're gonna have to go listen to the episode to get all the full details on it. I am very much just skimming through it here.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just saying I'm not trying to be I'm not comparing myself to anyone who submerges themselves in some Alaskan ice bath. Yeah. Because I've seen dudes that do that. I knew guys that used to go up on those boats just to do that for fun.
Well, in Sweden,
it was.
I think.
Yeah, it's where I actually started.
They go from the sauna into the ice
amazing.
Water.
Well, that's amazing benefits for your skin alone. Even just jumping into the snow, right? So you go from the sauna, and then you get all the toxins out of your body, out of your skin. That's why their skin's so beautiful. And then jump into the snow and all the benefits that come with cleansing that all off, and then the rest of the mental and all the
But it increases your dopamine, and that's because you're stressed out. So you've got endorphin and neodorphin.
Yes, and you're also so you need endorphins because you're achieving this hard thing, and then you're actually regulating yourself. Yeah, so it's making it. Well, you're getting that double up of the endorphins.
In a way, it's kind of increasing your dopamine and helping it last longer. Yes. So again, that's your motivation, and that's probably
achievement for sure.
The thing that I might recognize for yourself been the most benefit out of everything that I've been doing.
Could be, for me too. I'd say it's really is a mix. I have a hard time. I love the feeling refreshed because that's only after the shower. During the shower, it might be I'm achieving this dopamine effect. I'm not sure. That might be also after.
Yeah, I'm messy on that because I didn't take super good notes on it. Increases your metabolism by increasing the darker fat stores. So,
Yeah, and that's
And
a
that's
cold,
your
that's cold
endorphins
exposure.
again.
Yeah, that's a cold exposure thing.
Well, especially if you're going from hot to cold.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. That's a big aspect of it is going from the hot to the cold. It helps increase your metabolism even more.
Yeah.
And it's the endorphins and stuff again are attaching to the white fat in your body and converting it to beige or brown fat.
Yes.
Look at, I sound so smart.
Listen to you, like, yeah, you're going.
But you can also, that metabolism increase is also expanded on.
The brown fat is important because it helps with energy, right? It's easy.
It helps with thermal conduction and helps eat the white fat or burn up the white fat.
Burn, yeah. So it's better for energy source, right? It's better for helping your body function.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a little confused. Now I don't sound so smart.
I'm sorry. I wanted to make that distinction.
Ruined it.
I wanted to make that distinction for people why it's important.
But fasting before hot cold also helps extend or expand on that metabolism.
That's cool.
So which is interesting for me because the days that I do that are on my fasting days anyways. Like I just happened to work out that way.
I might as well. It's like one thing's gonna suck. Let's make them all suck.
See here. Sorry, I'm trying to read that.
I read your notes too.
Hot and cold and natural treatment for most effective benefits. The hot and cold, the hot to cold, in relation to metabolism is the most effective for getting that metabolism boost.
Getting going, yeah.
Because like the cold will do, like if you just do a cold immersion, it'll do it.
Yeah.
If you do hot to cold, it makes it even better. And then if you're fasting, it makes it even better.
Okay. And that also causes like multiple different things within the body too, right? Because you have the gut going on, you have the gut cleaning itself out.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, that's a very strong conduction of multiple things you can get going on in your body. So it makes sense that it correlates. It's very good.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little confused on
your notes.
The benefits a little bit for strength training. Because at first he said you want to avoid doing it for 4 hours, and I kept getting distracted too and going back and getting distracted. But then a few minutes later he says that you should do it within 4 hours because it helps with the reparative and you're less inflamed.
So you're gonna be less inflamed. That makes sense.
And that might just be like high intensity.
Yeah,
workout.
I'd say that's more high intensity workouts for sure because. You've been,
and he did specify high intensity.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
And if you're doing more performance based, like you're not building strength, right, you're just trying to build your muscles, and you're doing dexterity skills and stuff like that. You still do cold, but there's not
the benefits.
Nothing's really going to happen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, there's still going to be some inflammation
and
reduction.
I agree with this just from being an old man who works out. For older guys like us, guys past our prime, past 35, whatever else, going hard on a day like that does make a lot of sense because you don't want to go hard every day.
No.
But even for a short period, and if you want, I really, I have hard maybe 3 days now a week. And that's pretty. I get pretty vicious, but luckily enough. But yeah, I can see how the cold and that relation between fasting and cold and the heat to cold can really make a difference, especially if you're going hard on that day.
Yeah.
If it's just this is your workout thing, so you're gonna make it part of your routine. I can see where it has diminishing returns,
or like no effect, or. Because he didn't really go into it too deep about the strength training, just that you want to avoid doing it for at least 4 hours.
Okay. I remember him mentioning that, but I didn't pick it up.
Yeah. Like I said, I kept getting distracted, so... let's see here. It also increases your core body temperature through the metabolism working, because we talked about how the metabolism is increased. And it's because of that...
It trains that, too. It also trains that.
Yeah.
For your core to be able to respond and to be higher, which is good. It's healthy for your metabolism.
So I've noticed this year because I've increased the hot in my shower.
Good.
And I'm doing the cold. So my body has this wider range for regulation on its own, but I also like in my house, I don't have air conditioning at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because we just have really good airflow. So even on that day when it was 107, it was still relatively comfortable in my house.
Oh, good. Mine had AC going like a mother.
Pussy.
Yeah.
But even in the cars for work, like my van that I drive most often, the lowest setting is like perfect. Keeps it comfortable, but I'm still sweating and stuff. I can still feel the heat.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when I get out, because like I was doing deliveries in and out, getting out into that heat after being blasted by the AC like killed me last year.
Yeah,
like it was hard. Yeah. But this year, like even that 107-degree day on my own outside, I felt that it was 107 degrees, but it didn't. I didn't feel drained by it just being outside. So that's been a huge benefit to me.
That's one of the things you most tangibly notice, I'd say.
But also that has a huge effect on your sleeping patterns too, and helping you regulate your sleeping patterns. So it's better to do it earlier in the day if you can. Like the earlier the better.
For the cold shower?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
But
yeah,
because if you do it later, it throws your body temperature off, you won't hit your core temperatures throughout the night like you're supposed to.
From my experience, I would say that if you want to take a shower at night, because we all do sometimes when we work out or whatever else it might be, don't go, if you're going to go extreme heat, because you're just like one of those people that wants to get that heat on you, okay, cool. But don't go cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, after, like you can turn on for maybe, whatever, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, and get that coolness on it, because it'll regulate you to a degree, but it won't wake you up. It won't give you that, it won't ignite all the things we've talked about.
Well, and that might be part of it, but again, like you've got temperature points throughout the night of different points
your body's hitting,
of different points of sleep stages. Yeah. So if you have that cold and you're doing an actual cold at night, it throws that out of whack, and it can disrupt your sleep.
Yeah, I know. That's the same thing. Like that's if you work. So when the winter time comes around and you work outside in the cold, also, which I like to go outside, I actually like to do. I actually like to expose myself to as much cold as I can in the winter time.
I naturally run a little bit warm, so cold doesn't bother me as much as hot does.
I'm not one of those guys, unfortunately, but I like to be out in the cold, and the heat to cold showers or short cold showers in the wintertime helps immensely.
Oh yeah,
and then hot and a little bit warm, especially if we're working at night, where it can just sap your energy because it's just just that cold.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do warm, I would never say, if I'm just that guy, like I used to do hot. I can take it still, but unless you're like recovering from your body needs to be loosened up or whatever it is, I wouldn't say go hot, but I would say get that cool on you. Go hot or warm to a nice little cool.
So with that my recommendation for it, maybe in line with Huberman's, I don't know, is you don't want to burn yourself with heat. Get it. Well, I mean, you don't want to literally burn yourself.
You want scolding, mother effing boiling stuff.
No, you don't, because we don't want you to hurt yourself.
Well, fine.
But go for the cold. I go to a point where I have a visceral reaction, that gasping for air, and it's not cold enough if I'm not going woo.
Yeah. If there's not a reaction,
like you should want to pull away from it and get out of it.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, your initial reaction should be, I'm getting out.
Today's Thursday, right? So this morning, I had felt it on my feet, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to get in that. That might be a little too cold.
Yeah.
But that's my recommendation for it, and that's going to shift and change as you become more adaptive to it, because doing this does help you become more temperature adaptive.
It does. Temperature hardy is what I say, but
same thing.
Same thing for sure.
Because I don't know if it picked up, but I run a little bit high internally.
Right. You said that
in general, and that's why I don't like heat as much, because I am quick to overheat. So, but I have found that by doing the warmer temperatures, I've gotten used to it, and I can handle hotter temperatures.
Yeah,
so
that's cool. That's really interesting. So that's kind of opposite for you because I'm a little bit cooler, right? Mm-hmm. So this has helped me actually take on the cooler temperatures. Just so it's same effect for you and myself. It's really good.
Because like for me, I want to go. Like I'm trying to do a garden. It's hard to do a garden if you can't be out in
90
heat.
plus, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard if you can't be out there pruning things, watering, taking care of these plants. Yeah. I've got a small garden right now. It's easy. Do a lot of which you're supposed to do most of your gardening stuff in the morning anyways. Yes. This is the best time to do it.
But you can't do it in the evening or when the sun is still hot.
But even then, it could still be pretty warm.
Yep.
If you're coming off
if it's here in Nebraska, 5 p.m. is the same. 5 p.m. is one of the hottest temperatures. It runs hottest from 3 to 5. So
yeah. But I mean, if you're coming off a 107-degree day and temperatures didn't drop that much, you're starting the next day at almost 90 degrees probably.
Yep.
So,
which is awesome. I'm gonna be missing that here pretty soon.
And like woodworking out in the garage, my garage isn't very well insulated. Even once I get it insulated, it's still gonna be a lot warmer in there. And like, I'm not going to do things if I step outside and go, oh my God, I'm gonna die if I'm in this another second. So it's helping me be more productive in that way too.
The biggest correlation, this is hilarious, but for me, that's because I'm right here with you. I'm like saying to both of these things.
Yeah.
But the biggest correlation I can find that has done that regulation between how good I can take heat versus not has been the showers, and then when I ensure to not gorge myself on what may turn into unhealthy sugars in my body.
Yeah.
So very, very high carbs, and then or bad sugars.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, historically, fruits are pretty available to us, but mostly it was a lower carb diet in the summer, right? In winter we had it's like more veggies and whatever else, right?
It depends on what
time period where you're at climate,
and it depends on what time period, because like the Middle Ages there was a lot of bread and potatoes for a lot of those people because it's all they could get.
All they could grow. That's true.
Because meat was incredibly expensive and you weren't allowed to hunt. And
who says?
The king. I says.
Yeah, that's horrible.
But no, it was like these people didn't have high meat diets.
Yeah, so I guess it does really.
The most they might have had was fish, fairly regularly. But even then, like they had cabbage, and potatoes and wheat. And that was like pretty much what they ate on most days.
Butter,
cheese, not butter, cheese. Butter was a delicacy.
Milk.
It's hard to imagine that, isn't it?
Yeah, no. Well, it's like salt.
There's a period of time not too long ago where this butter is like one of the cheapest things.
Well, right now butter's not really cheap either.
It's still one of the cheapest things that we can get though, because like everything's gone up.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So my next point is mindset, and this is something I kind of pulled out of a video that Hampton did recently. Shut the
Let's go, Rocky.
But it's that you don't need to train like Rocky or Arnie to be better fit. A lot of us get into that and we are struggling with our lifestyle, that being work and family,
the things that take our energy.
Hobbies, and trying to fit this in too.
Yep.
Right? So it's about finding a routine that aligns better with your goals and your lifestyle. And our bodies are incredible things.
Yeah,
they really are. There should be millions of things going on in your body.
Well, there is
all the time. There should be. Because of bad nutrition, there's probably only a few 100,000.
I'd say there probably still is, but a lot of those things are bad.
And our bodies your body's gonna know, and you kind of touched on this a little bit, if an exercise is doing what you want it to do.
Yeah, your body will tell you, especially just like your gut or your diet. Your body will tell you what's going on. If you feel a headache or a hay fever or whatever else might be, your body will tell you. If you're working out and you're sore in a way that you shouldn't be, like there's a tightness, there's a pain, and you didn't really do anything with your back, and that's where you're feeling the pain at. And take a moment to
on the back again. One of the easiest things you can do is just focus on sitting up straight.
Yep, more posture. Yeah, correcting where the misalignment is.
No actual exercises required. Just sitting up straight requires so much from your back if you're not doing it. And I'm better. Still got a long ways to go.
Yeah, me and you both.
But I mean, we've touched on the entertainment and how much that influences us. But don't overcomplicate your process. Again, your body's going to know what to do. And don't, despite what Barry says, don't strive for perfection.
Man.
Because perfection doesn't exist.
Perfection is a fluid concept. Don't listen to this hater. Don't listen to this millennial who wants to eliminate words and books and all that. We're not book learners.
I say that because a lot of people are like, if I'm not doing it perfect, I shouldn't do it at all. Yeah, but
so
it's this mental mind block.
That's still if it's not perfection, then they'll find some other word to subject to put in there. That's what that is. It's like I don't want to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, don't be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Right? Yeah. Same thing, right? But now it's like I don't want to be Jocko. Right? Same thing. Yeah. It's the same exact thing, but you just
again, it's knowing your goals and striving for those.
Well, that's exactly it. That's why perfection.
Like right now, my goal is to just take off the excess weight.
Yeah, it's a non-argument. It's just it's a misnomer. It doesn't matter.
And when you're getting started, don't be afraid to experiment with things. Like, you don't have to do these crazy, weird, odd positions of things. Like, don't get in a crazy yogi backhanded upside down pull-ups.
Okay. So
I'm just saying, like,
you're addressing what
I'm being ridiculous.
Yeah, you are, because I don't know what you just said. Because there is benefits to, if you want to do yoga, people can do yoga. Yoga is very beneficial in a lot of ways. Hampton will say so.
Yeah, no.
Will say so. This is a good thing.
All these guys advocate for yoga. Yep. That's not what I'm saying. I said yogi for one.
Yeah, I know what you were saying. Everyone knows what you were saying.
I just don't be afraid to experiment. Try something out. If you're not getting a benefit from it, maybe it's because you plateaued and you need to push through that and do that excessive work to tell your body, no, this is not where we're stopping. Or maybe that exercise just isn't working for you.
Yeah. A very and if you don't know, like, you don't want to stretch, if you have a bar to hang from, and this is something that Ito and Human talked about, but people have been working out for heavy weights, just particular or whatever, for years. I mean, I remember an old logger in my hometown would talk about, like,
Paul Bunyan.
Yes, Paul Bunyan would talk about, like, part of his workout was hanging from the pull-up bar and strengthening those tendons and those muscles together in the radiation, and also stretching out his spine. And
but yeah, it's stretching everything out.
Yep. And you can do a rotation from just dead hang where there's no tension, to pulling up on your lats and just holding there as a brace. And going back to a dead, there's a lot, but as long as you're at least hitting that dead hang a little bit of it, because that's the important part, to realign a lot of them vertebrae. So.
All right, well, that's, I think, all we've got for today. That wasn't too bad. No. It was only 2.5 hours.
Go us.
All right, we cut a half hour out.
We did.
So, yeah, thanks for listening.
If you have a lot of questions, which is bound to happen, don't hit us up. Just kidding. Please follow any links that we might have, and do reach out to us, because it's a learning process for us just as much as it is for anybody else, or more for me.
Right? I mean, Huberman's gone through college. He's a neuroscientist, and he's always learning new stuff. So
not that I'm comparing myself to a neuroscientist. Bran compared me to a neuroscientist, but I won't do it myself. He did it. Thank you.
If you would like to support me further and not Barry,
jeez,
I've got a gaming channel, Weird Cat Gaming, link down below. got my horror channel where I talk about horror movies and stories. That's also linked down below, called Horror in the Hills.
So does your gaming channel have anything to do with horrors? Is it horror gaming?
Maybe sometimes.
Okay.
I mean, we did do Night Cage and Elder Sign.
Elder Sign.
Yeah, it's H.P. Lovecraft inspired.
Really?
LCG. Yeah.
Sounds kind of fun. Well, the ponies one.
After you do that one. The what?
The ponies one?
No. Oh, Unstable Unicorn?
Yeah.
That has horror characters in it. That's ways you can support me on my own. Barry, do you have anything? You've got other podcasts, don't you?
I do. One's actually getting ready to start back up here pretty soon, and I have yet to make my new channel up for. I will probably we'll be listing that eventually.
Yeah.
It'll be a sports one. I might be doing a game and art one here pretty soon, and then a food one. So, yeah, I get the table set up so I can get that food one going. Fancy food table.
Ooh. Yeah. Alrighty. So.
Thank you. And I mean, good luck is kind of silly, but good luck on your. If you're tuning into us, who are the bottom feeders of this amazing, expansive, world, right, of trying to get these things going.
We're a couple of schlucks who are just trying to make this information more accessible.
Yeah, thank you for checking us out, because you're clearly already probably tuned into these other dudes. So just, hopefully you get some from it.
Yeah. Go out and be better than you were yesterday.